Hey guys, I'm Ray.
And I'm Corey.
And today we're going to be talking about what freedom looks like in this season. Now, Corey, I know that this is a very different season for you in many different ways.
Yeah.
Not just the fact that we're in a whole new year.
Woo!
Not the fact that a milestone birthday is coming up pretty soon.
God. We don't even say that. We're going to let people guess.
Yeah,
that's
a
the
milestone.
thing.
Milestone birthday.
Guess how old I am.
You can't say it on camera. We're getting to that age we don't want to say it anymore. But also because last year was just very different. Like the picture was painted different than what you would ever think that it would be.
Yeah.
So I think that in this season of your life, you want it to look a little different. And life has forced you to have no choice but to make it look different, right?
Yeah.
But we can either sit here and take it or we can make the best of it, right? So what does freedom look like in this season for you?
That is a hard question because first you have to think about like, what is this season, right? And then I have so much appreciation for this season of that I just went through. And I heard Iyanla Vanzant say, grief is such a powerful teacher.
How you say her name?
Iyanla Vanzant.
Okay. I could never say her name.
Okay.
Good job.
Names are not my thing, right? I'm always like, I don't know how to say.
I'm like, Ileana. They be like, who's that? You know.
Right. So I learned a lot of really important things about myself and about life and about God and about grace going through the grief I was in last year. And I don't think grief is like, it's not like you get to a point where you're like, it resolves, right? It just kind of comes back in and washes back in and then it washes out. Mm-hmm. It washes out in the sense that you think about other things, right? And so the grief of my mom passing taught me a lot about the season I thought I was in and opened my mind up to the season that I'm in now, which is not just like, okay, well, I have a grown kid and a kid in school. We think our season is so much about other things other than ourselves, like with the age our kids are, right? Got toddlers, you got kids in middle school, high school, grown-up kids, or the stage your career is in. You know, those are what we think our stages are. And I know for me, that's what I thought my stages were. I thought it based on how my law firm was. I thought it based on what my kids were doing, as opposed to being like, no, what's your stage? You know, and really our stages are more like, are we healing? Are we growing? Are we grinding? Those are our stages, right? And so I realized that my stage could be whatever the hell I want it to be.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be.
She was talking about you guys that having toddlers. I don't have no toddlers.
Me neither.
I want the word to know. It's not us. It's not us over here.
I was kind of referring to other friends, but no, that's not us. We are past the toddler stage. But the stage you're in comes out of how you see the world and what you decide your stage is, right? Are you deciding you're going to be healing? Are you deciding that you're going to be more expansive, willing to try new things? Are you deciding you're in a space you're going to bet on yourself? And so with my mom dying to me as early as she did and coming from being super healthy to being like really, really sick, I was like, my stage is there is no time to waste. And not just on being successful or doing things for other people or reaching this level of what people think success look like. Time is short for me, and short in the sense that I am valuing every drip drop of it. And so I'm in like time saver mode. And so where I would have time to waste or time to spend on things that maybe didn't interest me, but I didn't know what else to do, or things that didn't motivate me, but it seemed like the right thing to do, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. That's the stage I'm in. I want to do whatever sets my heart afloat. I don't. If it looks good on the outside, if it looks bad, if it looks like abandonment, if it looks like I lost my mind, then that's all good too. I'm okay with that because I realize that this time I have, and when I go and meet my maker at the end of my experience at this lifetime, I'm the only one who's got to tell the story and see if the check that God gave me as far as the grace of life and the gift of life, if I cash the check, did I live? And so the stage I'm in is all about living. It's all about living with intentionality and doing the things that I love. And so that's my stage, but it's because I choose it, not because the world says I should be choosing that stuff.
Yeah. I'm going to be up there looking in like, God, you let Corey in? I know, I got to be able to get in, right? You know, I think freedom, you know, last year I wouldn't have been able to answer that. Many years I wouldn't have been able to answer that because I didn't see freedom. I didn't see peace. I didn't see a lot of stuff, right? these last couple years have definitely changed my outlook on things.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me, as much as I said it, it made me understand that like life is short, right?
Oh, so short.
We don't know when our last day may be. So I always tell people like, live like today's your last, but remember you might wake up tomorrow, so don't spend all your money, right?
Yeah.
You still have bills. And I would give all this advice, but I would never take my own advice, right? I'm great with dishing it and not with actually, doing it on my own. And so for me, freedom this year, like I remember like day 2, we got back from Florida. I think we got back like on the whatever, I don't know when it was. And I started texting people these text messages, right? And you would have thought that I had planned this out, wrote this down, because it was like God was just leading my fingers, and it was like whatever. And it was like, hey, I no longer want to be a business partner with you. Right?
Your cutoff game is
be a business partner with you.
Yeah.
And we need to sign this contract to do this. And we need to fix this, and we need to come up with a determination, because I'm not going into the year stressed with the same thing I was stressed out about last year, right? And so that was like the beginning for me of like what freedom looked like. Like, hey, I'm not taking the same stress over into this year. And then everyone's like, well, what's your New Year's resolution? To finish what I didn't finish last year.
Yeah.
I don't have time for new resolutions because I haven't finished what I was supposed to finish for the last, I'm not going to say my age, but that many years, right? At the end of the day. And then the next part is to be okay. And I'm working on that. It's still, is to be okay with how people feel about me being happy. I think that last year when I woke up and I wanted change, because I think change comes from like dramatic things happening in your life. And, and I do believe that people just wake up one day and be like, enough is enough. Yeah. Like I can't keep living like this. Yeah. Right. When I woke up and said, enough is enough, I want change in my life, I got quiet. Because that's what God told me to do. He told me to sit still. Like he told me to pay attention to my surroundings. He told me to start doing as he said, let him take the wheel, right? And let go of my decisions. And to be able to meditate in it and know if is it me talking to myself, like girl, do it, or is it God talking to myself, or is it society? Because I think it's 3 people always talking to you, right? You talking to yourself, God talking to you, and then the world around you talking to you. And we tend to always gravitate to what the world around us is talking to, right? So freedom means letting go the world around me. Because when I got silent, people felt like things were wrong. Yeah. Which means that you were attracted to my toxicness. You attracted to the negative part of me. Because that's the chaos in my life. And I wanted the peace. And the peace to some people means like something's wrong. Yeah. Or because they're not in a peaceful stage, they don't know how to connect with it. So me letting go of the fact that I don't care how they took it, right? Yeah. Even though I never tell my side of the story to things that's going on, I still care what people think. Does that make sense? Yeah. I'm not telling them because it's not your business for me to tell. But I do care that you're out there saying, I let go of all of that, right? And that literally happened within a matter of days. And that was like how freedom started for me in this season. Kicked in this season.
It's like karate chop freedom.
It was a karate chop. It was like, let's exit out. I dragged it along. It cost me money. It cost me peace. It cost me, most of all, my health, because people don't realize I'm not like out here eating unhealthy and, and craziness. It's really the stress and the other things and the hormones and stuff inside of me that is making me sick. So if the cortisol level that's high, as we know, that came back with a test, is high and it doesn't have anything to do with me physically, that means I got to find freedom from the inside out, right? Yeah. I got to find peace. And when I think of freedom, I think of peace. Yeah. Not exactly doing things the way we want to do it, but doing things that puts us in a peaceful nature and allows us to be able to sit in the midst of a storm and be okay, knowing that we made the right decisions, we let God lead, and that we're doing whatever it is that makes us happy from the inside out.
I love you talked about how God started, like you were texting, but God was like guiding you through that. Because I think whether you believe in God or the universe or whatever it is, the ability to let go, because we feel like, oh, I'm driving this bus. It's so stressful. I have to go here. I have to go there. As opposed to being like, man, I am a passenger in God's bus. And when he says get out, I'll get out. When he says get back in, I'll get back in. I'm going to trust the path he's on. I'm going to trust even if I have to second guess, like, oh, dang, we telling people this, or this is our mentality this year. Okay, but I'm behind you. And so some of the freedom of being able to let go comes from trusting a bigger picture that you don't have to design.
Yeah. And I think that the fear of letting go is the biggest part. Does that make sense? I think everybody wants freedom. Everybody wants peace. It's just, what do you have to go through to get to the other side of that, right? And being transparent for me, I got to go through a bankruptcy of one business, right? I have to go through letting people go. I have to lose people that I thought was going to be in my life for a lifetime. Peace comes with something, right?
It's a sacrifice.
Freedom comes with, with something. And I think that honestly, when I really start looking at freedom, and when I was going through the brain tumor and that doctor told me like, hey, it's a 50% chance you're going to come out of here. It's a 50% chance this is the last time you say goodbye to your family, right? And going into it, I was like, okay, well, I got to get right with this, because if I go into this surgery scared, if I go into surgery nervous, that means I didn't put God in it. That means I didn't believe the prayer that I said, right? But God is also saying like, don't be dumb, because I might bring you home, right? So I was like, hey friend, get my trust in order, get my will in order, right? But when I went into that day, believe it or not, I went into in there peaceful. I went into that surgery room joking with the doctors. I went in there like, when I put me in there, I was like, man, I feel like I'm in a movie or something. And he was like, you are. Now close your eyes, right? And so being able to go in there means that I was able to find some type of peace inside that situation.
Yeah, because that's scary.
And if I can find peace within a situation that says there's a 50-50, this may be the last thing. I remember my cousin Tanya, the last thing she said, not like to me, is like, are you going to remember us when you come out? Because my memory was so bad. And it was it was on my, side of my brain that was memory. There was a chance I could not. And when I her saying that to me was like, dang, I may not remember. I got to be at peace with the fact that I may not know these people when I come out of here. Right? Like, I remember the first time someone asked me, how did I meet you? And I was like, I don't know. Like, and that's when I realized like, dang, my memory is affected. I knew who everybody was to an extent until I went home and I realized I didn't. Right.
Oh,
and that was
to Minnesota.
Yeah. And I realized I did know who everybody was, like childhood friends and stuff. But it came back because I put it in God's hands and I rolled with it. And remember, I never complained. Like, I just don't know. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but I know who you are right now. I know that we're supposed to be here right now. And that's all that matters to me. And what that taught me was presence, right? Freedom also looks like being present to me, right? Being able to sit here and have a conversation with you and not worry about what is on my phone, what the outside world is doing, what's going on. That is like a part of freedom.
Yeah. And they said, really there is no past or present. There is no future. There is only right now. Our only experience of life is in the moment. But it's so funny. We spend so much time thinking about the past, thinking about what we're supposed to do in the future, as opposed to just being like, man, I'm so happy that I'm here. And I'm so happy I'm breathing this breath. And I'm so happy I'm in this experience. Even though it has its bad points, it has its good points. I'm grateful for the presence in however I'm experiencing it. And so I think it's so funny to tie freedom to presence, because when you're living presently, even if you're just meditating at home and breathing in and out, it's hard to feel stressed, right? Because it's all you have is this. All you have is this breath. All you have is, this body you're in. And it's all these the past, nobody likes me, everybody hates me, or the future. What am I going to do today, tomorrow, the next day? That's where all the stress comes from, instead of just being like, man, I'm here right now. I try my best. I love on myself and people as best I can. And that's cool. That's good. Kudos to me. Like A+ for living life because I'm doing those things, as opposed to all these external influxes of what you're supposed to do and who you owe something to. So I think thinking about freedom in different ways is important. I would say, how did you think this is different than how you looked at freedom in the past? What was freedom to you in other stages?
I think that I've always devoted myself to being there for other people, right? So the first way that I think it looks different is that instead of me like trying to help people and trying to make it easier for people, I want people to be free and be, at peace and stuff as well, right? And so I went from putting people in their comfort zone to taking people out of their comfort zone. I was speaking to someone and they were telling me about you. They're like, we were talking about computer, we were talking about your birthday, right? And they're like concerned. And I was like, I don't care. And they was like, what do you mean you don't care? And I was like, I came into her life to pull her out of her comfort zone and to give her peace, right? I really don't care about anything else, right? Everything else I'll deal with it, on the back end of her fear, of her nervousness, of her, I don't like this or whatever, because I'll never put her in a position that I know she wouldn't want to be in, right? At the end of the day. And for me, approaching things that way, not just with you, but for me, with my kids, whatever, that looks like freedom to me, right? Because anything else would be like, okay, let me stop doing all this. Let me care. Let me this, whatever. I actually stop now and I say, hey, is this going to make a person feel good? Is this going to make them at peace? Is this going to put them in a comfort zone that's not good for them?
Yeah.
Or pull them out of their comfort zone to help them in the future, right? At the end of the day. And that's how I start looking at myself too. The best thing that I could have did was stop and pray.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when people ask me stuff, I literally stop for a second. I pray. And if God doesn't give me some type of sense of warmth, he may not speak that quick. I have to wait, and being able to tell them, hey, I can't do it right now until God speaks. Mm-hmm. It means something. My kids always be like, did God tell you yet? Like, did he tell you
Can I
yet?
call him up?
Did he call him up? And so to answer your question, how I don't think freedom looked like anything to me in the past because I wasn't on a search for it. Mm-hmm. I wasn't in pursuit for freedom and peace like I'm in pursuit for freedom and peace now. How it looks different now is that I stopped leading the way and I let God lead the way.
Yeah.
The biggest part for me was like literally letting go because I felt like I was making bad decisions. It looked like good decisions on the outside. It was prosperous and successful to the world, but it was eating me up on the inside. Yeah. So if it's going to eat me up, I don't care if it's bringing me millions or if it's bringing me, taking me to a different level. If it's going to eat me up on the inside, I'm going to have to say a hard no and pass. Yeah. And being able to get to the point that you can say a hard no for me on millions or anything else is like, a big space to know that like I'm only choosing freedom, peace, and happiness in this. Enjoy.
It's so funny because when you were talking about like how you treat things and taking people out of their comfort zone, it's funny because when we frame freedom and what instantly popped in my mind as far as imagery, it was like, you can get really comfy in a zoo, right? You can be a bear in a cage and somebody spruces up the cage and it looks nice. And the perception is when you don't think about it, I'm free because I'm here. I could walk to my left. I could walk to my right. I'm not as caged as I could be. So I'm just going to find freedom here as opposed. And so it feels discombobulating when somebody's like, nah, I'm going to open the door to the cage. There's a whole big world out there. It doesn't feel comfortable. It doesn't feel like the safe space you may have been in. But in order for you to grow, you have to get into the freedom. Like you can't just stay in the cage. And how often we cage ourselves. Like I'm supposed to be here. I'm limited. I'm defined as this kind of person and I can't break free from that. I can't do anything else. And that's not where freedom resides, right? Being able to step out into new worlds and still be yourself. You're not yourself because of the cage. You're yourself because of what's inside. But so often we don't want to test that. We don't want to go outside because then, you think you're the king of the jungle and you may be a small pea. You may be an ant. Mm-hmm. And the fear of not knowing, really being able to taste freedom is something that like haunts us all. And I agree. I think we're both young moms and it's like life has to go this way. You have to provide. You have to do this. Kids come first. Go on this path. And we go on that path not realizing we can still choose ways to do things and be healthy and be good moms, but do it our way.
Yeah. Yeah. Do it our way, do it God's way, do it the way that it's supposed to be. I think that we have put a facade on for so long that we became that person, right? Mm-hmm. Someone's like, what mask are you wearing today? And I was like, well, what does that mean? And they're like, well, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing good. And they're like, you're not, right? Tell the
lies,
truth, right? Are you doing good? Are you coming? Are you maintaining? Are you like, he's like, it starts with telling yourself the truth. That's a part of freedom too. Like being able to just not care. When there's so many people looking at us the way that they do and expecting us to succeed, it's hard for us to be honest with ourselves to say like, okay, I failed in this area, right? Yeah. And we believe in it, right? We fail, we get back up. But have we ever stopped to be honest? Like, man, I failed over there. I messed up in that area. And I'm okay with telling the world that I messed up. I just started at this shit. I could have never stopped and said, hey, I'm bankrupting one business. I'm letting go of these partners. I'm letting go of this. I could have never sat in front of the world because I know the world expected me to be so great
Superwoman.
And so successful. And that didn't stop it because I have another business that tripled in income, right? Yeah. I have another part of me that tripled in culture and everything, right? Like I enjoy life way more than business the last half a year last year. And that was what's most important. Mm-hmm. And if it caused, which it did not cause it, right? It was years of coming up. If it made me be more aware of the fact that I need to let go of a business, that I need to put more into another business, that I need to let go of partnerships, that I need to do this, then I live the best years of my life, 6 months of my life last year,
Yeah.
you know, in general. But it took me to leave the country. It took me to see how other people were living. It took me to see how other people were not stressed out like in the United States.
Isn't it amazing?
Me to go to countries and be like, is there anyone overweight in this country? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so you're telling me nobody is overweight, like, you know, in this country. And like, and that comes from not just the eating, right? It comes from the stress. It comes from, you know, like they say like diabetes and stuff like that is not always just caused by the insulin. It's your brain releasing that extra insulin because it's saying something wrong. It's wrong with you. And a lot of that is stress on the body.
Yeah.
So finding freedom and finding peace is going to make us so much more healthier. Remember, I'm going towards that taste skin. And so I'm hoping, I'm hoping for that. Right. But the last thing that I was listening to, I guess he is a monk that talks, right? Because right, sorry, I don't know. But I was listening to a monk on a podcast, and he was telling me that freedom, when you find freedom and peace, your people start to come around you, right? Because everyone wants to feel safe with someone. Everyone wants to trust someone, like to be able to say, like, man, I messed up, I did this, and not feel judged, right? And not feel, you know, like someone's attacking them or anything else. But the safety of saying like this friendship, this relationship, this whatever puts me in a safe space where I know that if I can't, you know, show up as myself with the rest of the world, I can show up myself with that. That's part of freedom too. Because it's like you could be trapped in friendships and relationships that are toxic that won't allow you to be free. Yeah. So it doesn't just start with yourself. It's with your relationships, your friendships, your surroundings, right? You have to break free of some of those things because you're put in this cage of, you know, of relationships. And if you don't get free from all of that, then you're not free at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it all ties together. And like I said, you were talking about self-love. And I think when you say, this is who I look like in this stage, and I'm okay with it, and I'm comfortable with it, and I'm rejoicing in this person, and some people are not gonna like it, and some people are gonna love it. Like, oh my gosh, I've been waiting for you to put that burden down, or to have more joy, or to go dance in the rain. And then other people are gonna be like, oh yuck. And some of that is maybe how they wanted that relationship and that tie to bind you, but it may just be their own reflection on their own selves. Because freedom doesn't look good. It doesn't feel good. I don't know if y'all seen that movie Madagascar, but it doesn't feel good to see other people escape in the zoo if you feel like you can't escape.
Yeah.
Right.
And the only thing that's holding you inside that zoo most of the time is you.
Yeah. But seeing somebody run away, it feels like abandonment. It feels like you're not being loved, or they're not prioritizing that relationship, as opposed to somebody just being like, man, that was a cage and it caged me. And I think when you have that awareness of the circumstances, the job, the whatever, the relationships have caged me and I have to break free from it, it's not a poo-poo on other people. It doesn't really have anything to do with them. It's everything to do with how you have consciously realized the structure was for you and for them. And so I think
want freedom for them just as much as I want for myself. Right?
Yeah, it's like a celebration.
No one wants to leave anybody behind. Right. It's hard. Like, I was talking to someone last night and they were saying it's even harder for friendship breakups than it is for relationship breakups, right? It's hard. So no one wants to like move on. When God takes us away from people and, you know, puts us in a distant season, it's hard. We ain't out here like, we let go of them. It's like tears of cry and everything else. But until they break free, if God puts us here of freedom, until they break free, we can't be in that same cage to, you know, like it's hard to deal with someone that's still not free while you're out here living freedom because they're kind of looking at you like you're weird. Yeah. I think people think we're weird anyway. So
sometimes you have to be the example, but you can't pull somebody through. It's a choice.
Yeah, it's a choice that you have to do. Yeah. So I heard you say something about abandonment, and I know that I didn't know this, but the world struggles with crazy amount of abandonment. So I think that should be something we should talk about on another podcast. But you guys, we're going to go ahead and end this for today. As we always let you know, make sure you check out our website. Make sure you check us out on all platforms, Spotify, Apple, go to YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, wherever it is that you love to go. We're on every platform that you can think of. And make sure you comment and like and let us know what you want to talk about. Anything you want to talk about, we will, because we are here for you, not just for us.
So she told you, like, share, subscribe, get in on the conversation. We want to hear from you. And we will check you guys out next time on Freedom on Your Terms.